Well, hello, friends. This is Mrs. Vanderlaan, and I teach first grade here at Holbrook. And today we're going to keep reading from our book, Crenshaw. And we'll be reading chapters 28 to 30. And that starts on page 131 if you want to follow along. We lived in our minivan for 14 weeks. Some days we drove from place to place, and some days we just parked and sat. We weren't going anywhere. We just knew we weren't going home. I guess getting out of homelessness doesn't happen all at once either. We were lucky. Some people live in their cars for years. I'm not looking on the bright side. It was pretty scary and stinky. But my parents took care of us the best they could. After a month, my dad got a part-time job at a hardware store. My mom picked up some extra waitressing shifts, and my dad kept singing for tips. Every time his fishing sign got wet, I made him a new one. Slowly, they started saving money bit by bit to pay for a rental deposit on an apartment. It was sort of like getting over a cold. Sometimes you feel like you'll never stop coughing. Other times you're sure tomorrow is the day you'll definitely be well. When they finally put together enough money, my parents moved us to Swan Lake Village. It was about 40 miles from our old house, which meant I had to start at a new school. I didn't care at all. At least I was going back to school. A place where facts mattered and things made sense. Instead of a house, we moved into a small, tired-looking apartment. It seemed like a palace to us, a place where you could be warm and dry and safe. I started school late, but eventually I made new friends. I never told about the time we were homeless, not even Marisol. I just couldn't. If I ever talked about it, I felt like it couldn't ever happen again. Chapter 29. Crenshaw and I didn't chat much during those weeks on the road. There was always someone around to interrupt us, but that was okay. I knew he was there, and that was enough. Sometimes that's all you really need from a friend. When I think about that time, what I remember most of all is Crenshaw riding on top of our minivan. I'd stare out the window at the world blurring past, and every so often I'd catch a glimpse of his tail riding the wind like the end of a kite. I'd feel hopeful then, for a while at least, that things would get better, that maybe, just maybe, anything was possible. Chapter 30. I guess for most kids, imaginary friends just sort of fade away, the way dreams do. I've asked people when their imaginary friends stopped hanging around, and they never seem to remember. Everybody said the same thing. I guess I just outgrew him. But I lost Crenshaw all of a sudden after things got back to normal. It was like when you have a favorite t-shirt that you've worn forever. One day you put it on and, surprise, your belly button is showing. You don't remember growing too big for your shirt, but sure enough, there's your belly button sticking out for the whole wide world to see. The day he left, Crenshaw walked to school with me. He did that most mornings unless he wanted to stay home and watch Blue's Clues reruns. We stopped at the playground. I was telling him about how I wanted to get a real cat someday. That was before I found out my parents were extremely allergic to cats. Crenshaw stood on his head. Then he did a cartwheel. He was an excellent cartwheeler. Then he came to a stop, and he gave me a grumpy look. "I'm a cat," he said. "I know," I said. "I'm a real cat," his tail whipped up and down. "I mean," I said, "you know, a cat other people can see." He batted a paw at a yellow butterfly. I could tell he was ignoring me. A bunch of big guys, 4th and 5th graders, walked by. They pointed at me and laughed, making cuckoo circles with their fingers. "Who you talking to, doofus?" one asked, and then he snort-laughed. That is my least favorite kind of laughing. I pretended not to hear him. I knelt down and tied my shoe like it was a very important thing I had to do. My face was hot. My eyes were wet. I'd never been embarrassed about having an imaginary friend until that moment. I waited. The boys moved on. Then I heard someone else approaching. She wasn't walking, more like skip dancing. "Hey, I'm Marisol," said the girl. I'd seen her at recess before. She had long, dark, crazy hair and an unusually large smile. "I have a Tyrannosaurus backpack just like yours. I'm going to be a paleontologist when I grow up, which means—" "I know what it means," I said. "I want to be one too, or maybe a bat scientist." Her smile got even bigger. "I'm Jackson," I said, and stood. And when I looked around me, I realized that Crenshaw had vanished.